In the UK, they recently described Facebook and they used the word gangster.
Yeah.
You spent a lot of time at this company. Do you think they're gangsters?
You know, that UK report has a lot of legitimate complaints. I think the UK, just like the United States and all of the Western democracies, have real concerns about the impact of social media on their democracies, on their political spheres. I think when you use that kind of language, you end up detracting from the good analytical work that went into that report.
So, but just tell us where you think Facebook is right now, because obviously the stock has come back. People seem to be using the product. It appears that advertisers have not left the platform. Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg say that they have invested heavily in security procedures and all sorts of new procedures. Have they done those things?
They have. I mean, I think what you're seeing is the separation between the business and the company having to do the right thing for society, right? Wall Street is reacting to the fact that people still love the product. They click ads. It is still probably the best way to get ROI on your advertising dollars, and that is reflected in the performance of the company. But in the long term, those are not the things that the executives should be focused on. And I think that is actually a problem for Facebook, is the fact that there's so much compensation of executives, of individual employees tied up in the stock price is actually going to hamstring their ability to pivot.
So you think skin in the game, which we always talk about, you want employees to have skin in the game. You think in this case is problematic?
I do think it's problematic. And you can see that from the stock bump after the last quarterly earnings. There was no announcement of a big improvement on the security and safety side, right? And yet Wall Street reacted just to the numbers. And these companies have to look long term, that if they want to survive, if they want to reduce their regulatory risk, they want to reduce their overall PR risk, they're going to have to think about, is what we're doing good for society? And that is not measured in your stock price on that day. And I do think there's a problem here. You know, Facebook has announced that they're moving their bonus structure to measuring a broader basket of things, but that doesn't really matter if 70–80% of executive compensation is coming from stock.
How are employees affecting what market participants do with the stock price? I don't understand what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is the market participants are affecting the employees' decisions. Facebook's real problem is not that, in the media you read these stories that make it sound like a couple of people got in a room and then said, what's the evil thing we can do right now? That's not the problem for Facebook or the rest of the tech companies. The problem for these companies,
I think.
The problem for Google too is you have tens of thousands of little decisions that are being made in a incentive structure that does not match, let's build products for what's good for people. People, they want to build things that people want to use.
That's because the business model doesn't match that. And that's been, we all thought, oh, do no evil, all of these things. And now we're realizing, oh no, we're the product.
Right, well, they make money from attention. And if people use the products, they end up making money, right? And so you end up measuring all of these metrics that are tied to whether people enjoy the product. But the truth is, there's all kinds of products. If somebody takes a shot of heroin and you ask for whether they enjoyed it or not, they say yes, because you're not measuring, is this actually good for people? And I think that's something that tech has to do, is they have to measure in the longer term whether it's good, but Wall Street doesn't care about that. And I think that's going to be a problem.
Real quick, Washington.
Yeah.
A lot of hand-wringing. We talk about it all the time. And yet we haven't really seen regulation. Do you think regulation is coming?
I hope so. I mean, the truth is since the 2016 election, Congress has done nothing to protect the 2018 and 2020 elections, right? They have been completely deadlocked.
As a security professional, do you believe that the security in place at Facebook today would prevent whatever you think happened in 2016?
So I think Facebook has reacted well to 2016. The problem is we're not building houses here to a building code to prevent fires. We're playing chess against intelligent adversaries. You can't just act statically to what happened in the past. You have to think about what your adversaries are going to do in the future. And one of the problems is that the only companies that have done anything around the election are really Facebook, Google, and a little bit of Twitter, because nothing has been legally required. There are 1,000 companies in the internet ad ecosystem. And so we still have kind of systemic weaknesses because the standards have not been applied to anybody else. So I do think we need to have regulation in DC.
I know we have to go, but very quickly, what's your relationship with Facebook at this point, just given everything that's happened?
I mean, I'm still good friends with a lot of people who work on the actual problems. I'm not sure where I am.
Do you get calls? Do you get calls from Mark or Sheryl or texts after an appearance like this to say, "Hey, Alex"?
Well, we'll see. No, I don't think so. I mean, what I like to work with is the people who are actually working on these problems. And at Stanford, one of the things we're trying to do is to have that relationship on the real issue.